mercy for miners in forest reserves, says the land minister. Minority Chief Whip blasts government over lack of funding for Galamsey. Atachian has claimed clients are being treated unfairly. NADMO defends Interior Minister's donation to Edum fire victims. And Kevin Taylor has been sued. Let's go for a quick commercial break. When we are back, I would give you the details of these news.
Admission, admission, admission. Are you looking for a computer institution with a serene atmosphere in equipping you with the ability to deepen your understanding and in-depth knowledge in computerization? Then the answer is Big Family Multimedia Institute. Our dedicated and experienced teachers are ready to provide personal attention, support, and help you bring your fusion to bear. We are located at Amasama Dobrogono, Upper Class Junction, and Santa Maria Family and Friend. For more information, contact 0555 20 80 56 0540 932 188. Website bfmnetworks.com. Email info@bfmnetwork.com. Other affiliates include Center for Trade, Big Family TV, Big Family News, Big Family Radio, Big Family Event, Big Family Multimedia Institute, KabaraInfo.com, Trustees, Okman Motors, Soko Mall, ABK TV Ghana. Enroll now and experience the difference.
You are all that matters.
You are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio. Obiase Eye.
You are welcome back. My name is Esther Kusiagbobli. Now the details of the news. President John Dramani Mahama received a courtesy call from the Ghana Bar Association, GBA, today, March 26th, led by GBA President Mrs. Efuagate. The meeting was an opportunity for the Ghana Bar Association to congratulate President John Dramani Mahama and discuss key issues affecting the justice system. The Ghana Bar Association announced that it will host the African Bar Conference in Accra from October 19th to October 23rd, with a preceding National Bar Conference in Wa from September 14th to September 19th. The Ghana Bar Association requested additional funds to complete court complexes in Wa, Cape Coast, and Tema. The Ghana Bar Association assured President Mahama of its commitment to upholding the rule of law and working with the government to enforce laws protecting the environment and security. President John Dramani Mahama lamented the economic crisis, highlighting the need for austerity measures, including budgetary allocation slashes for the three arms of government. President Mahama announced that the District Assembly's Common Fund DACF has been uncapped to free up funds for completing court complexes.
You are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio. Obiase Eye.
And when we assumed office, as is our mandate as a bar, we are to assist the judiciary. It came to our notice during our visit to the Upper West region that they have an uncompleted court complex. They intimated that funding was available up to a point, but they required extra funds to complete the said complex. Mr. President, we think it's appropriate to mention this because the numbers at the bar are growing and so is practice. And therefore, the space is needed to ensure that the justice delivery system has the necessary amenities. Likewise, on the drawing board is another court complex which is much needed in Cape Coast. Mr. President, as a result of the effects of the sea, it has become pertinent that Cape Coast should have a court complex which would assist in ensuring that they do not have the occasional issues relating to their current court premises. Lastly, Tema. Tema is a real growing city, and it has been intimated that they are in dire need of a court complex. Mr. President, some years back, it was on their table, drawing board, but it seems it has dropped off. And respectfully, Mr. President, we want to bring it back on board because they are bursting at their seams in relation to the courthouses that they have currently.
Away from that story, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Kofi-Boah, has issued a strong warning to individuals engaged in mining activities within Ghana's forest reserves. Lands Minister Kofi-Boah has issued a strong warning against illegal mining in forest reserves, emphasizing their critical role in Ghana's environmental sustainability. He stated that such activities are illegal and will not be tolerated, vowing that all offenders will face the full force of the law, regardless of their position. Illegal mining is causing devastating damage to Ghana's forests, rivers, and biodiversity, prompting the government to intensify its efforts to protect its natural resources. He noted that such activities have led to deforestation, water pollution, and the destruction of ecosystems that are vital to both human and wildlife. Lands Minister Kofi-Boah warned that law enforcement agencies have been directed to clamp down on illegal operations in forest reserves, urging all miners to operate within the law and avoid restricted areas. The Lands Minister called on traditional authorities, local leaders, and citizens to support the government's effort to combat illegal mining, stressing that environmental protection requires collaboration from all stakeholders to safeguard Ghana's forest reserves to future generations.
So if you've arrested people who are big fish, give me 2 names.
I'm roughly 2 months in office. But
you are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio.
And this is probably to serve notice to anybody who is powerful and think that he can above the law. And will arrest you and will shame you as well.
So have any big...
You are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio.
This is some of the things that are very important. And this is the point you made is very serious. Listen, I talked about some statistics we have. Last year, 2024, 6.2 billion value, that's the value of Galamsey equipment, excavators that we brought into the country.
Yeah.
Obviously, those small guys in those districts will not have the money to buy these excavators. You know, one of the things we are going to do, and we are working on already, I know that there has been regulations on
you are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio.
What's your plan for that?
We are working with the Ministry of Transport. We are going to tackle it from the ports.
You are referring to this list. Diesel is number 1.
Yes.
Light oil
you
number
are
2.
listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio.
You can see there's enough excavators in Ghana to be used for a while. You can do a temporary ban.
But the thing is that we have to put a system in place. Already, the Minerals Commission has a tracking program so far on experimental basis of 70 excavators that they are able to track in their using geofencing technology to track, and that is working very well. They know exactly 24 hours where that excavator is.
But that's just 70 excavators.
Yeah, I said it was an experimental. How do we expand that? And how do we work with the DVLA, work with the Ministry of Transport to make sure we know every excavator and the owner who registered it? Because ultimately what we are saying is that working with the Attorney General and the Interior Ministry, if any excavator is caught in any illegality, we are not only arresting the person, but ultimately with this system we are putting in place, we are going for the big guys.
Moving to the issues of Galamsey, Minority Chief Whip Frank Anodompre has criticized the government for failing to allocate dedicated funds to combat illegal mining. Galamsey, in the Lands and Natural Resources Ministries that approved 1.8 billion CD budget. Anodompre expressed disappointment that the budget, despite covering an entire year, lacked a specific plan to address the issue. He has been demanding an urgent conversation to make the needed resources available for the Lands Ministry in the fight against illegal mining. The big fish here is Galamsey. We can't pretend about it. I'm disturbed. I have gone through the 19-page report and there is no dedicated expression on Galamsey. Why? He asked. It is regrettable, totally regrettable. You can't justify this. I think there should be further engagement, and I will urge the committee to engage the minister. There should be a definite expression for the fight against Galamsey. We can't leave it as it is. In as much as I speak in support of the motion, I think these observations should be teased out, he added.
The big fish here is Galamsey. We can't pretend about it. I'm disturbed. I've come through all the reports. How many pages? 19-page report. Not a dedicated expression on Galamsey. Why? There should be so. The minister has told us that we are going to do categorization, blah, 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 blah. This is your budget. For a whole year budget, no dedication to Galamsey fight. It's regrettable. It's totally regrettable. No, you can't justify this. Speaker, I think there should be further engagement, and I will employ the committee that they should further engage the minister. There should be definite expression for the fight against Galamsey. We can't leave it as it is. Passing statements and sweeping statements being made in this regard cannot hold and cannot justify the inaction. So, in as much as I speak in support of the motion, I think these observations should be teased out. And the minister, thankfully, is one of us. And he's not a difficult person. Some of these things, we should find a way of reinforcing it.
Atachia, the legal counsel for Kwabena Edubuahene, former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, NSB, is preparing to sue to obtain bail for Edubuahene and his wife, Angela Boateng, citing unfair treatment and alleging violations of their legal rights. Atachia claims authorities recorded his conversations with his clients and restricted his access to them, preventing them from properly interrogating them. He criticized these actions following accusations made by the Attorney General about the alleged diversion of $7 million. During a press conference on Monday, March 24th, Attorney General and the Minister for Justice, Dominic Ayeni, released some alleged details surrounding the arrest of Kwabena Edubuahene. The former Director General of the National Signals Bureau has been accused of misappropriating public funds earmarked for the procurement of cybersecurity infrastructure and using those misappropriated funds to acquire real estate in Accra and even some properties in abroad. Ayeni's actions have been called into question by some, claiming the Attorney General's office is putting the proverbial cart before the horse, releasing this information before statements have been taken. Both Edubuahene and his wife remain in detention at the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. I'm unable to communicate with my clients because I've been directed to the General Legal Counsel if I'm having a tete-a-tete with my client. And guess what? An official of the EOCO is listening to our conversations, and we are being recorded. That's a violation of the justice delivery system. It's never been done anywhere in the world. Pathetic. Not even statements have been taken from them. You vilify a man and defame him without hearing his side of the story. All this is coming from the first gentleman of the bar, who is also a law lecturer, as well as his deputy. They are both lecturers. So what are you teaching the law students?
I don't know the book that Tuya is reading from. And where in the world is a man pronounced guilty before he's sent to the court of competent jurisdiction? Where in the world? And these people are supposed to be law lecturers. Where have they found a new law or the reset law that they are talking about? Didn't you read from the Constitution? And there's a kindergarten appreciation of the Constitution that a man is presumed innocent until guilty. Are we going to tear that into shreds to sue the caprices of, the NDC's Attorney General? Please, when these professors are talking to you, just use the common sense position of the Constitution, to contradict, the foul appreciation of the law. I don't expect the professor of law to say this. That you condemn a man in the court of public opinion, and then you say that even properties that is not investigated are the process of a crime, and say you are doing what you do.
To Big Family Radio.
But Mr. Sacha, this is what happened.
Oh, amazing.
So What next now? When do you go to court, seeing that every available option to you to communicate with your client isn't working? What then do you do now?
Well, we're just about to step into the court to see that they get their justice from the court. We do not expect Yoko to be kind to our clients at all. They have been damned already. They've been vilified already. They've been defamed already in the name of informing the public. How do we inform the public with defamatory statements? That is that information or propaganda? Why are you claiming victory when you've barely concluded the investigation? You've not heard from them. Attorney General is very comfortable to eat a meal which is not cooked. Pathetic.
So what reliefs are you seeking for?
You are listening to
we want their bail so that I can even confer with them properly in the hallowed space of my law firm. And then I listen to them before I could look at the defense.
Away from that story, the initiation of proceedings that could lead to the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Saki-Tokuno has sparked debate, with legal experts agreeing the process is lawful under Article 146 of the Constitution, but differing on its implications and broader reforms needed. While all lawyers and experts who spoke to the media in separate interviews described the process as a lawful constitutional exercise, some called for constitutional reforms to adequately safeguard the independence of the judiciary. They were private legal practitioner and constitutional law lecturer at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, APSA Law School, Albert Kwashiga, private legal practitioner and award-winning journalist, Samson Ladi Ayenini, and private legal practitioner, Martin Pebu. President Mahama has forwarded 3 petitions seeking the Chief Justice's removal to the Council of State for consultation. While lawyer Martin Pebu acknowledged the process is lawful, for Mr. Pebu, the petitions and the subsequent move by President Mahama in forwarding them to the Council of State for consultation could lead to some uneasiness within the judiciary, but stated that the process was totally in line with the tenets of the law. He explained that a consultation with the Council of State was to determine whether or not there was a prima facie case against the Chief Justice, which would inform whether a committee should be set up to investigate and determine the merits or otherwise of the petitions. He advocated for constitutional changes to enhance judicial independence, specifically removing the president's power to appoint judges. Other lawyers are calling for more defined regulation of the Article 146 process, specifically delineating the offences and procedures to be followed by the investigative committee. Away from that story, NADMO has defended the Interior Minister's donation of 1,500 bags of rice and 800 boxes of oil and soap to Edum fire victims, stating the supplies were crucial for immediate survival. The organization stressed that the relief items were crucial for the immediate survival of those affected by the devastating fire, which displaced dozens of families and left many struggling to meet basic needs. Following the fire outbreak last week, NADMO swiftly mobilized food supplies and hygiene items to assist the victims. However, some recipients turned down the donations, citing concerns over the quality of the rice and the suitability of the soap and oil. There are some who can only eat when they come to turn around in the market, and there are some who can't even afford soap and other necessities if they go to the market. So when something happens, our focus is to immediately rush and give them some form of relief to the most vulnerable, he stated. This follows an initial rejection by some recipients concerned about the quality of the donated items. NADMO Director Dr. Joseph Kuyon stated, Our focus is to immediately rush and give some form of relief to the most vulnerable. He added that a thorough assessment is underway to guide the government in providing further assistance to help restore businesses and return life to normal.
There are some who can only eat when they come to turn around in the markets. There are some who can't even afford soup and other basic necessities if they don't go to the market. So when something happens, our focus is to immediately rush in and give some form of relief to the most vulnerable. Then after that, the assessments are done, like I've told you. We have identified the people, we've categorized them into various classes, and they all have their needs. And so this initial approach is to relieve those people who are very vulnerable and cannot afford the daily necessities. After that, a report will be given to government and actual responses will be done, at least to restore them back to business for life to become normal again.
Moving to health issues. Despite being a treatable medical condition, misconceptions and stigma often surround clubfoot in Ghana, leading to emotional distress and untreated cases. The Christian Health Association of Ghana, SHAC, is working to combat these issues by offering free clubfoot treatment for children under 5 at the SDA Hospital in Kwadaso, Kumasi, on March 26th and 27th, 2025. The initiative, supported by Hope Works, the Brazza International Foundation, and the Multimedia Group, seeks to offer life-changing care to children affected by this condition. Each year, about 20,000 babies are born with clubfoot globally, with Ghana recording approximately 1,000 cases annually. Despite being a treatable condition, many cases remain untreated due to lack of awareness. According to Programs Manager for SHAC and Hope Works Clubfoot, Nana Educhumwa Ajete, untreated cases are common. When you walk the streets of Accra, you see many untreated individuals with clubfoot, children and even adults. If each region records about 1,000 cases annually, it shows how widespread the condition is, she noted. One major challenge is that many parents, especially first-time mothers, struggle to recognize clubfoot in their newborns. I didn't know about clubfoot. I had never seen a child with such a condition before, so I didn't recognize it in my own baby, a mother shared. Medical experts emphasize early detection, as clubfoot can usually be identified at birth. The Christian Health Association of Ghana, SHAC, emphasizes that clubfoot is not a curse, but a medical condition which is treatable with early intervention. The organization, supported by partners like Hope Works, has treated over 8,000 children with clubfoot since the year 2008.
This child, good child, and her leg is like this. Everybody was asking me, what's wrong with her leg? What's wrong with her leg? So I cannot say anything. I only tell them my leg is 10 years.
When Rabiatu was just
listening to Big Family Radio, Big Family Radio.
Away from that story, a man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after a motorist was allegedly struck by another driver following a fight near a runabout. Police believe both men were earlier involved in an altercation in Oldham, Greater Manchester. Officers were called to report of a fight in Broadway, Chattertown, close to the Elk Mill roundabout, at about 6:40 p.m. on Wednesday. Police said it is believed that the drivers fought before one got back into his vehicle and struck the other man. A 50-year-old man was pronounced dead at the scene, and a 32-year-old suspect later handed himself into the police. He remains in custody for questioning, Greater Manchester Police said. Detective Chief Inspector David Morse from the Force's Major Incident Team said, while an arrest has now been secured and an investigation is well underway, I would urge anyone with any information regarding last night's incident to please get in touch with us. A man tragically lost his life and we are supporting his family as we continue our work. Ultimately, we want to get them the answers that they deserve as we fully establish all the circumstances which led to their loved one losing his life. Still on international news, the 6 people who died after a tourist submarine sank in the Red Sea off the coast of Egypt were all Russians. Egypt's Red Sea government has said The government added that 39 tourists were rescued when the viewing submarine sank off the resort of Hurghada. It also said that no people are missing. The submarine, called Sinbad, was carrying 45 passengers, including children, the news reported. It is not immediately clear what caused the submarine to sink, even though investigations are under the way. The Russian embassy had earlier confirmed 4 of its citizens had been killed. The embassy in Cairo told the media, on March 27th, at about 10 o'clock, the Sinbad Bataskapi, owned by the hotel of the same name, crashed 1 km off the shore. In addition to the crew, there were 45 tourists on board, including minors. All of them are Russian citizens. It added, most of those on board were rescued and were taken to their hotels and hospitals in Hurghada. Their health condition is not a concern. 4 people died. The fate of several tourists is being clarified. Those on the submarine had paid for a sea trip to the coral reefs in Hurghada, according to local media reports. Security and emergency services responded to the incident, including 21 ambulances. Egyptian newspaper Al-Mas reported the submarine had been operating tourist trips in the area for several years, the news outlet added. In the world of entertainment, a US-based Ghanaian political commentator, Kelvin Ekol-Taylor, has been sued for 20 million Ghana cedis by a Ghanaian medical herbal officer, Dr. Williams Anefi Sapon. Sapon, who operates at the Spintex Hospital, a herbal medical center in Tema, alleges that Kevin Taylor defamed him in a series of recent comments he made on his Loud Silence media show. Taylor alleged during some recent episodes of his show that despite carrying himself as a doctor, Dr. Sapon is not a licensed medical doctor. He said he is a fraud who has probed himself with fake qualifications and by buying awards to make himself look impressive. Taylor dared him to show any medical degree he has to prove he is a doctor. Taylor also made accusations that Sapon is attempting to run some fraudulent business deals by tying himself to the president, John Dramani Mahama. He called on the police to arrest him. Taylor dared Anefi to sue him, claiming he would even be willing to come to Ghana to attend court. To end the news, let's do a recap of our top stories. No mercy for miners in forest reserves, says the land minister. Minority Chief Whip blasts government over lack of funding for Galamsey. Atachia has claimed clients are being treated unfairly. NADMO defends Interior Minister's donation to Edum fire victims. Kevin Taylor has been sued for $20 million by a Ghanaian doctor. To acknowledge my sponsors, Trustees Network Group, Big Family Multimedia Institute, BFM Store, Center for Trade. You can also follow us and watch us live on Facebook at BFM Network and ABK TV. And also a massive thank you to my producers, Akosia Depa, Abenapa Pebi, Hansel, and Ejata. Thank you for watching News at 6. My name is Esther Akosia Gbobli. Have a good evening.